Section 18, Article 18 of the New Hampshire State Constitution. All penalties ought to be proportioned to the nature of the offense. No wise legislature will affix the same punishment to the crimes of theft, forgery, and the like, which they do to those of murder and treason. Where the same undistinguishing severity is exerted against all offenses, the people are led to forget the real distinction in the crimes themselves, and to commit the most flagrant with as little compunction as they do to the lightest offenses. For the same reason, a multitude of sanguinary laws is both impolitic and unjust, the true design of all punishments being to reform, not to exterminate mankind. Now that's what it says in the New Hampshire Constitution. The design of all punishments being to reform, not to exterminate mankind. Now, in the case of Pam Smart, rehabilitation has taken place. Even if she was guilty of the murder, even if she did everything she was convicted of doing, she has been rehabilitated. She has helped other women in prison. For example, I mentioned before that she would run to this woman who had problems because she was mentally challenged. She would sometimes defecate on herself. Unfortunately, others would laugh at her, but not Pam. Pam Smart ran to her aid and would clean her up herself, and would even wash her underpants out. She would also help the same woman with her intimate needs for her monthly cycle. There are many women in prison that she has helped. Okay, people have worked with her on a day in, day out basis, have not seen any criminal tendencies, any violent tendencies. Okay, anything that suggests that she is a threat to anybody. Now, so that is why I believe that her sentence, life without the possibility of parole, is unconstitutional according to the state constitution. The purpose is to rehabilitate, not to exterminate mankind. To reform, not to exterminate. Okay? And she's basically been sentenced to be, in essence, exterminated, even after she has been reformed. Now, one problem that people have is, although she has expressed great remorse, great grief for having the affair that led to her husband's murder, she hasn't specifically said that she plotted the murder, that she encouraged the murder. Now, I don't think this should be necessary for parole for a couple of reasons. And one of them is that it does assume a perfect justice system. Okay, now, if she is guilty, why won't she admit that she's guilty? Does her failure to admit that she plotted the murder mean that she is in fact a sociopath? That she cannot be rehabilitated? I don't think so. I believe that it's very possible that the reason that she won't say that she plotted the murder is because of her own parents, who are aging, who have been hurt tremendously by this, and whom she wants to take care of. And she just does not want to disappoint them further by telling them that she plotted the murder, if she did plot the murder. It's also possible that the reason she won't say it is because she's innocent. I did a story once on a man who was known as the bike path rapist. He went before the parole board 6 times, and they asked him, "Do you have remorse?" And every single time he said, "I can't have remorse for it because I didn't do it." And at that point, of course, he lost any chance of parole. Now, his family encouraged him to lie, say he was the bike path rapist, and say he was remorseful just to get out of prison, but he couldn't do that. And he was after being turned down for parole 6 times, he finally was released because it was proven that he was innocent. Okay, now again, that hasn't happened with Pam Smart. Maybe she is guilty. Maybe the jury found correctly. But the law has not found correctly. The law has put everyone involved in the murder on the streets, and has said that Pam Smart, even if she lives to be 105, must draw her last breath in prison. She cannot have even a few years of freedom to try to take care of her aging parents. That is not justice. That is not modern justice, and that is certainly not justice tempered with mercy. And she should have mercy. And I hope you like what you saw and heard, and will subscribe to my channel.